first time Sullivan's ever introduced me and not ripped on me. I mean, it's never happened before. Thank you guys very much. It's a huge honor. Mayor, thank you for welcoming us into town. Commissioner Sullivan, who wears multiple hats, as you know, is head of the Bergen Building Trades, and electrician and everything else, and all of you for the laborers. I'm just so grateful. Ayuna, thanks for what you do, and Randy, very, very grateful. Clerk Hogan is here, I saw a minute ago as well. Tom Bracken, you know, you understand, oh, there you are, you understand the importance of actually building things and of labor to make sure things get built for our economy to grow in Jersey, and I'm incredibly grateful to you. And Greg Lalvey, who's just been every step of the way with me on this fight. I'm just so grateful. And Joe Sanzari, you know, you'll see drive in Jersey, you see a truck on the roads here. Joe and I talked about this. I think we came here when I was first running, multiple times. The first time, if I remember, you took me around and you told me that literally you got crews running on the turnpike and the parkway with long poles, knocking up into the overpasses to knock loose any concrete so it doesn't fall in a car. You get it loose beforehand. We talked about that, and we said it's ridiculous how many bridges we've got in Jersey that are not fixed. Right. I want to thank you and what you guys do every single day as well. I'm very, very grateful. We're here, as you heard, to celebrate a major bipartisan win for our country, for the hardworking families in New Jersey, and a victory for pragmatic problem solving, for just common sense, and for helping middle-class moms and dads. The bipartisan infrastructure bill is historic. It's a once-in-a-century investment in repairing and improving our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our rails, Jersey transit, storm resilience, water systems, broadband connectivity, electric vehicle chargers, and so much more. Over the last months, Democrats and Republicans came together the old-fashioned way, working with the president, crafted and passed the greatest infrastructure investment in a century. And to me, it's a great example of how our government is actually supposed to work, working together across party lines to get things done for the people we represent. For everyone who's ever hit a pothole in Jersey, and there's a lot of them, been stuck on a train, spent too much time commuting, or worried about the water their children are drinking, the bipartisan infrastructure bill is a huge game changer. It's an investment that New Jersey needs badly, and I think it's fair to say that I heard everybody loud and clear now for years. You wanted action, and we acted. In Jersey, we've got the third worst roads in the nation because we haven't invested, right? You all wanted more resources to fix them, and when you get it, you do the job. But if we don't give you the resources, what happens is that you get more potholes. People spend an average of $700 a year to fix damages to their cars, right? More than 500 of our state's bridges are considered structurally deficient. A third, like this one, are in desperate need of repair. In fact, years ago, and then back in April, as Mayor Dunleavy said, many of us literally stood here when we started this fight to get this bill done. This very location beneath Route 4, right, the Hackensack River Bridge that connects Teaneck and Hackensack, and we advocated for major infrastructure investment because currently this bridge over Route 4 is one of many in our community that is rated as structurally deficient, meaning that key elements of the bridge are considered to be in poor or worse condition. The bridge was constructed in 1931, right? Sullivan, you weren't even around. It predates Franklin Roosevelt's election to the White House. Just think about that for a second. The bridge predates FDR, who's 95% of us have only read about in history books. Clearly, this bridge needs to be put into the history books as well. And now, after we get this done and we fix it, it will be. It's not just bridges that are in desperate need of repair. Parents are late to work in the mornings and miss bedtime in the evenings. New Jersey Transit has been ranked the worst on time in the nation, causing endless delays. Part of the delay is the backup of the train stuck outside of New York's Penn Station. Right, we've all done it. We're sitting and waiting there, waiting in line, because one of the tunnels is down. Right, those train tunnels under the Hudson River are 113 years old, yet 20% of the GDP runs through the Northeast Corridor. New Jersey residents who take public transit spend an extra 83% of their time commuting. On top of all this, there's still lead in our children's drinking water, in our schools, and many rural families, including far too many in Sussex and Warren counties, don't have basic broadband connectivity to connect to school, work, or to a doctor's appointment. Our ports are backed up by infrastructure that should have been updated decades ago and is now actually making the supply chain crisis worse. Recently, Hurricane Ida laid bare the lack of storm resilience in our infrastructure. We know so many towns got hit right around here. As we face the possibility of more superstorms, and we saw the rain just this morning, we have to ensure our infrastructure is actually resilient. That will get addressed in this bill. I'm sorry I'm painting a doomsday picture, but here's the good news. That's why we're here today to celebrate, because we're actually fixing it with the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and why all of us have worked so hard together for all these years to get it done. It only took us about 3 decades to get our act together, but now we got it. This past spring, I was very proud to join the Problem Solvers Caucus, which I co-chair. So we started working on this bipartisan bill with Democrats and Republicans in the House and the Senate, and started working to make American lives better. And this final bill, it got passed out of the Senate in August with 19 Republicans and 50 Democrats. And then finally, this past Friday in the House, Democrats and Republicans brought the bill home. And to me, you add to that Chamber of Commerce, the AFL-CIO, the Bergen Building Trades, the operating engineers, LIUNA, right? We broke a months-long logjam and got it across the finish line, and the president's going to sign it on Monday. Very quickly, let me just tell you what's in it so you know. This bill is an unprecedented investment in our nation's roads, bridges, and mass transit, including billions of dollars right here in Jersey. It will finally get the Gateway Tunnel built, that train tunnel between New York and Jersey. It infuses the largest investment in bridges since the construction of the interstate highway system, and commits an unmatched resources to storm resiliency, electric vehicle infrastructure, and clean drinking water for our kids. Plus, it will ensure that all Americans, including those living in rural stretches in my district, in Sussex and Warren County, have access to reliable internet. Because right now, we've got huge swaths that have no broadband connectivity just 40 minutes from here. It also increases our competitiveness with China, which last year spent over $3 trillion on infrastructure outside of China. So nothing will make me happier than we get these shovels in the ground and people to work, including 2 million people to work in this country every single year for the next decade. And much of it will be led by our hardworking building trades, with jobs going to the hardworking men and women of labor who are here today, who build all this, who get up every single morning to look out for us. Our roads, our tunnels, our transit, electric vehicle stations, broadband fiber, right? You think about it, from water to roads, all of you are going to help us build that, and I can't thank you enough for what you do every single day. We're going to get this bridge fixed, right? We're going to make sure that Joe Sanzari is busy for the next years also. We're going to get the Gateway project moving. All this is going to happen by working together. Democrats and Republicans, we came together because it's good for the economy, it's good for America, and it's good for Jersey. We're going to grow the economy. In the long term, we're going to help create jobs. We're going to help save our families money so they don't have to repair their cars. We know that every buck we put in infrastructure turns into $3 for economic output. We've waited too long. The wait is over. Last point, that in the 50s, Dwight Eisenhower, he understood this as a Republican, right? General Eisenhower recognized that infrastructure investments were needed for our economy, for our competitiveness, for our military might. And he invested in the highway interstate system. Here in 2021, we're facing a similar challenge in our country's history. But with this historic legislation, we're going to get it done. We're going to make that investment and bring our country into the 21st century and make sure that here in the greatest country in the entire world, our best days will always be ahead of us. There's no reason anyone ever has to think about this as a Democrat or Republican issue. This is just what's good for our country. It's what's good for Jersey, what's good for our jobs, it's good for our families. And after 30 years of gridlock, it shows that when we work together, there's nothing we can't do as a country, nothing. And to me, that's the most important thing, to think about, well, how we're going to help our families, but also this model that we need to think more of how we win in the world. We win by working together, by coming together to get things across the finish line. That's the way to make sure our best days will always be ahead of us. So thank you all again for everything. I'm so grateful. God bless you, and God bless our great country.